So in ActivityPub, the only difference with email is you're all of you are familiar with email, right? You sign up with an email provider like Gmail or Fastmail or Hey. They will hold your inbox on a cloud, right? The rest of the world is allowed to put things in your inbox, right? So that is called posting to your inbox, and you are allowed to get from that inbox. And you can use any client app. You can use Gmail's front end, or you can use Outlook or something else, right? Superhuman or something else. However, the other way around, like you don't have an outbox which remains on the cloud when I'm talking about email. ActivityPub simply adds that capability, right? So along with your inbox, your outbox also remains on a server of your choice. You are allowed to put things in your outbox, and the rest of the world is allowed to read from it. And just by adding this simple missing piece, it opens up a lot of capability, right? Now you can implement things like broadcast, right? I am posting things in my outbox which is public. The rest of the world can read my blog, right? I can put a video in my outbox, that becomes my YouTube channel, right? I can put an audio file in my outbox, it becomes my podcast. And by allowing this sort of double operations by you and the rest of the world on your own server of your choice, we can implement a number of applications all along with a shared identity, shared schema, shared protocol of communication, right? It's such a simple model to understand. Think of ActivityPub as an email, but where your outbox also is on the cloud, and you can choose your own server. So as I said, Actor will post material to the outbox. That's a post HTTP post API, and once it's there on the server, the rest of the world can read from it. And while putting things in the outbox, you can actually specify constraints. So for example, you can say that, okay, this tweet is for anyone to view. This tweet is only selected for selected users. Let's say I might have tagged only 4 friends, and that's a group that I'm posting to. Or then this might be a direct message, right? If that person also has an inbox, I can directly put things in their inbox also. So just by adding this missing piece, a lot of the social networks that we've seen become possible to implement. So as I said, now let's see how LearnAwesome went about implementing it. So it's a open source project that I've been hacking on in my nights and weekends for many months now. The idea is to create a learning map, and I believe learning 10x faster and more effective on any topic is possible. I have data to believe this, but that's the motivation for me to start. So you guys can all check it out. This is how it looks like. There are topics, there are formats. So for example, you can do a search like show me videos about machine learning which are 30 minutes long and are entertaining, right? And all that rich metadata is available. However, no content is hosted on LearnAwesome itself. It is just a repository of links, but with this high quality metadata. And around that collection of links, there's a social network. There's a community of learners that is built. They can post reviews just like Goodreads. They can discover each other. They can follow each other. You can gradually customize your dashboard so that you're following certain topics and certain people, and only high quality material as per those people will show up on your feed. So it's all functional. You can go and try it, check it out. However, what I wanted here was I wanted Mastodon users or ActivityPub users to be able to consume my learning activity, so my reviews, without signing up on LearnAwesome. And with Fediverse makes that possible. ActivityPub makes that possible. So let's say I'm a LearnAwesome user. I mark a book as 5-star. Oh, let's say this book about linear algebra is really high quality. I give it 5-star. I write a detailed review. That review, because every user on LearnAwesome has a ActivityPub profile, which can be followed by anybody else. So when a person follows me here on LearnAwesome, we will maintain a record here, a list of my followers on ActivityPub, and whenever I do some activity, event will get posted, an activity will get posted to all of those followers, individual servers, right? So I just need a background job, and then it just integrates seamlessly, right? Users don't even have to leave their favorite apps. They don't have to visit LearnAwesome even once. So if you want to implement similar functionality in your web application, right? And I highly recommend that you should consider it because Fediverse is getting richer and richer. There are all sort of tons of applications, tons of amazing users, and they are sharing. It's like what Twitter used to be in the initial days, right? So if you want to implement this in your own applications, there are primarily 4 things that you need to implement. One is the discovery of users. So given a name at domain, how do I find out where are the rest of the API calls, right? And that is implemented in something called WebFinger. So you implement this path in your app where anyone can query that given username at this domain, what are the things that you know about it, right? The WebFinger is a very extensible protocol. You can return phone number, email. In our case, we will return the URL of that user's actor and inbox and outbox. So any activity pub client will make this call. They will figure out, okay, what is the actor URL? Where am I supposed to get the public key? Where do I read from? Where do I write from? Right, inbox and outbox. And I'll show you the sample responses, which are actually very easy to implement. It took me hardly three hours to implement ActivityPub in my app. So here is the WebFinger response. For every user, I maintain ActivityPub ID. For me, it's a direct mapping from my ID to ActivityPub ID, except that I will just replace hyphen with underscore. And the JSON will say that, hey, this user's actor URL is this one. Right? So I can show this response. Yeah, here is the response. So a query was made with this ID at learnawesome.org, and my server says, okay, you can find the actor information about this user at this link. And when you follow that link, that actor object will actually give the detailed URL, right? What is the user's name? What is the preferred username? What is the type? So in this case, it happens to be a person. There's a short bio that I'm publishing. Most important things are the inbox URL, the outbox URL, and the public key. So public key is important because if you're sending me a private message, or let's say my server is informing your server that this user has just posted this review, your server wants to validate that. Okay, the signature must verify, and therefore there's a public key that needs to be published. But yeah, most important things are the URL for the inbox and outbox. So as I said, in my Rails application, this is the JSON that I built for WebFinger query, and I returned it. And when you come to the actor object, these are the things that I return. So as you see, I am returning a type, a preferred username, a name and summary, and icon. Because if you're building something like Twitter, every user has a profile picture, and that's the image. In inbox and outbox and public key. Right? Now, when it comes to inbox, so as I showed you in the diagram, right, the rest of the world will be posting to a user's inbox on my end. So when I receive that request, my server, when it receives that request, what I do here is I have a verify call. So I make sure that the message is signed properly. And in this case, I'm responding to the follow request. Right. So this is a follow. Someone just wants to follow me. And in that case, I will create an activity pub follow record in my database. And then I'll invoke a background job to send an accept response. Yes, I accept your follow request. In case the user wants to unfollow me, in that case, you can see that I just log it, and I will remove the activity pub record. So this is the activities that I am accepting as a sink of events, right? Learn Awesome is mostly a source of activity pub events, but it still needs to handle incoming follow and unfollow requests. Okay. And the verifying signature is probably the least easy part of this, right? I had to do a little bit of experimentation here to find out how exactly this was. All that happens is there is a header called HTTP signature, and it's supposed to map out to a match with a hash of certain parts. So the parts could be key ID, headers, and signature, right? And using those parts, if that signature matches, I can be sure that okay, the request is actually coming from the server that it is coming from. So this is the verify part. And when something happens at my end and I have a list of followers for every user, I need to inform all their servers, right? So I have this method called activity pub. All it does is for every follower, it creates a signature header and then it does a HTTP post. So it takes a document, which in my case is a review. In your case, it could be a video or a podcast or audio or any of the existing types that activity pub supports. I add those headers with a signature and then I just do HTTP post. So this happens in async mode. So it happens in a background job. But it's fairly simple, as you can see, right? All I need to do is just give a timestamp and then sign the headers. And the JSON that I need to send, again, I need to map it to the ActivityPub schema. So I had a review. So in this case, as you can see, I am sending a create note activity. So as you can see, type is create, but the object type is note. And in that content field, I will send my ActivityPub message. So for me, it's a simple, it's a short enough text message that Nilesh just completed reading this book. Here is the image associated with it. He has given 5-star rating to that, right? So all of that information goes into the message. And I just put a timestamp and create note activity, and then this is the one I send up posting to their servers. So once my server has put it, there's that message in their inbox. Whenever they go online, whenever they come online or they check their app, they will see the activity. At no point of time they had to come to Learn Awesome, right? They did not have to visit. They did not even have to know about it. All they need to do was, as a user, I shared my ActivityPub ID, which is user ID at learnawesome.org, and they just followed it within their own client apps, right? So it works very seamlessly, and such a simple thing to implement, right? As you saw, that there are just 4 to implement. You implement a web finger to discover information about the user. That web finger response will have the link of that URL. Actor URL will return an object which has the inbox URL and outbox URL. Inbox will be used where your server can post to my server for each user. So to say that, okay, I want to follow this guy, I want to unfollow this guy, right? And outbox is only necessary when you want to read from, you want to do a poll from what this user has been doing, right? So in my case, what I'm doing is I'm keeping a record of all the followers, and when something interesting happens, when there is an event to publish, I'll just iterate through all the followers, and I just post this activity event to all of them. So using just these 4 routes in the right way, in the schema compliant way, your app will integrate with the rest of the Fediverse, right? And it has a number of apps which work with it, right? I've been on my mobile, I'll be using this app called Tusky. It's a Twitter equivalent, but it works with the server that I'm using for my microblogging, which is fostered.org. And it's been working quite well. And I hope that, it seems right. It's not tricky. Probably the trickiest part is this signification part. And as you can see, it's not much. It's just 10 lines of code. But once you do this, it only needs to be done once, right? Then your app is part of the entire ecosystem. And this is where my main point is, right? ActivityPub started out as an equivalent for building a microblogging network. But if you just think about it, at what is going on here, right? It's a distributed PubSub protocol for the entire web. Apps can subscribe to each other across domains, across owners, across servers, right? And something interesting happen, it can be public broadcasted to all the subscribers, and apps can follow each other, and the systems can follow each other. AWS can become a publisher of ActivityPub events, right? All your monitoring dashboards can become ActivityPub clients. So it opens up a number of possibilities, and I think as developers we should look at ActivityPub as a generic powerful glue, right? It allows us to build far more interesting applications. At the time, we are also solving the problems like centralization and censorship and filter bubbles and other things. So this is that's all the introduction that I wanted to give for ActivityPub. This is the signing part. So when I'm sending a message, so when I'm sending a message to your server, I will need to sign it, and therefore this is the string that I create. So there's a request target. I identify request type. There's a host and date that I add, and then those are the same fields which I end up encoding to be used as a signature. So it's a fairly simple method. There are some links that I can share. I can share this slideshow later if you want to implement it.